Welcome to the Clinical Research Podcast, bringing you the latest developments in research explained by our world-leading clinicians, academics and scientists based in Nottingham. In the latest of our interviews with winners of our Research Heroes Awards, Andrew Bennett talks to research practitioner Georgia Melia.
It's become a bit of a well-worn expression, but in at the deep end is very appropriate for Georgia Melia, who's one of our research practitioners. Georgia is also one of our COVID-19 Research Award heroes, and last year she had to learn new skills on her feet as she moved from the lab to patient wards as one of our staff who were battling the pandemic.
We were all kind of thrown in the deep end a bit, really. We all came from different departments. Anyone with any lab experience was all just brought together. And then obviously we were all learning a new process together at the same time. Everyone was really, it was just as new to everyone. So it's just really important to help each other at that point, really.
How did it feel to be part of that?
When all the results came out, it was really, really proud. I was quite impressed with all the work that we managed to do as well. It was really hard at the time. It was just felt a bit almost relentless, really, on some of the weeks when we had hundreds and hundreds of people's blood come in for all these different studies. But in the end, it's actually been probably one of the things I'm most proud to have been involved in.
Did I read somewhere that you did some work on the ward, or you did actually meet some patients?
So I've been on the wards, I've helped recruit for recovery, bioresource, and then at the beginning of the year for a couple of months I worked quite hard on Falcon, which was one of Dream's studies. I think we recruited over 100 people to that within the space of a month.
How different was that from being in the lab?
It was my first patient-facing experience. It was scary at first. Obviously, I've had to learn venipuncture and I'd never done it before. That was really scary at the beginning. Felt like, I didn't want to hurt anyone. I wanted to make sure I got it right. But I got into it quite quickly and then got on a roll and managed to do quite a few. So I had to learn how to swab people as well.
Mm-hmm. And how was that?
Interesting. It was all right. Again, it's just one of those you worry about. I'm more worried about that one being uncomfortable for the patient, but once you get confident at doing it and used to doing it, you kind of just go with it.
You sound like a fast learner.
I'd like to think I am.
And what's it like actually dealing with patients? How different is that?
It's really different. Obviously, everything then. When you work in patient facing, everything is like about the patient. You have to, your people skills, your communication, everything's different to how you would just be going about your normal daily business in the lab, when the only people you have to speak to and interact with are the other lab members. I love speaking to the patients. I met some really, really nice and interesting people. I love to go out and I think I've enjoyed that side of it, actually. I've made the most of trying to learn from the patients as much as I can.
So you've met many people with COVID because it's a hospital. Did you feel sort of nervous at all to start with, or how did you counteract that?
I in the beginning, when it was all new to everyone and there was a big worry about it, I was a bit worried, yeah. And it was scary at the beginning, but I kind of just had to think, well, it's my job, it needs doing, and secondly, it'll be worthwhile doing, because the only way we're going to get out of this pandemic or figure anything out is research. And in the end, I guess I was just more determined and proud to be involved than to let it scare me. And the patients felt the same. The patients were scared, so you can't be scared as well. So it's all about trying to reassure them. And a lot of them, to be fair, were really, really grateful to have been a part of being able to help make things better, and we were grateful to them for taking part. So it was just a really nice process to be involved with. I think the most proud I've felt is when the results come out for say the Oxford vaccine study or the recovery study, and we find new ways to treat patients, or we find out ways that aren't as good, but at least we've been able to find that out, and be just most proud to be involved in those processes. And to be able to have said that I've contributed to finding a way to deal with COVID.
What was the most challenging bit of the work you've done over the last year in fighting COVID?
The most challenging bit was definitely at the beginning, when it was all new, and you were almost fighting a bit between being scared of it and trying to not be scared of it, and learning all these new processes. So how to take blood, adapting to new protocols, because the protocols were changing every week, being put into new situations, new wards, new places you hadn't worked before. It was just about adapting really quickly, and in the beginning that was challenging.
How did you get along with your colleagues? Was there a good camaraderie, good team spirit?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was we're all in this together. You know, we've all made really big sacrifices this year. We've all worked harder than probably we've ever worked before. But it was knowing that we were all doing it together kind of got us all together through it, I think.
And how do you feel to have got the award last week?
Proud. I don't. I was a bit embarrassed when I saw my picture. Proud, really. It's something that I'll definitely be one of my proudest moments, I think.
And what do you think about the poem? Have you read the wording, the thank you poem?
I have read it. Yeah, it's nice. I like it. I think it's very appropriate.
Okay, fantastic. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the team?
I know people obviously won these individual awards, but I do think everyone that was part of this whole team, all the lab team, the nurses, the practitioners, all the managers, everyone has probably worked harder this year than ever before, and I think everyone deserves recognition for how hard we've all worked.
And thanks for taking the time to do that.
So that was this episode's Research Hero. You can find more of them by subscribing to this podcast or visiting nuh.nhs.uk/research. Thanks for listening. There are links in the show notes for more information on clinical research in Nottingham, and the website is nuh.nhs.uk/research. Our email and social media links are there too. If you want to stay up to date with the Clinical Research Podcast, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Google, wherever you normally get your podcasts. The more shows are rated and reviewed, the more search engines like them, and the easier it is for people to find us. So if you can subscribe and rate and review us, you'll be doing it for science, not just for our egos.